Well, we are back in the basement. Excuse me. I'm going to be closing it up now and filling the tank because I filled the drain pan here. And that's all the scale I got of it. There are some nice big chunks. Look at that. Oh, let me turn off that light here. Come on, light. Turn off. There we go. When you say mineral water, that's what you're drinking. Well water, stuff like that. That's what's in your water heater. No. That is it. You put a cup under that faucet, you turn on the faucet, fill up with water. Yeah, that's what you're drinking. Anywho, but I've completely filled that, and that's all the scale that came out of it. I got my finger way up in there, and I can. You hear that? You hear the crunchy? I can feel a whole bunch of scale, but it's not going to come out of there. It's in little divot, and a lot of it is really big chunks that aren't even going to fit through that opening anymore. So that's the best it's going to be, which is perfectly fine. The goal was not to completely get everything out of there. The goal was to get it as clean as can reasonably be done. So here we are now. How to button everything up. First part I'm going to do is put the drain valve back on there. There we go. I'm going to use the thread tape because you can see a little bit of blue line on here. Yep, that's what was sealed it before. But I don't have none of that. So the same thing, it's going to thread in like this. And this is plastic. I got to be careful with it. It's going to thread in like this, so I don't want the end of the tape to be facing this way, because when I tape it, turn it in like this, it's going to get bound up. There you go, you can roll it. If you roll your finger off like that, it's going to jam up into it and really make a big mess. But if it's like this way and rolling, it's going to pull it tighter. It just makes it... sorry. I got the phone between my knees. There we go. So, nope. Turn it like this way. This is the way I want it to go. Because it will end... Is this correct? Nope, that is... wrong way again. Alright. Here we go. This is the correct path. This is the way to do it. Yep, just like this. Not a lot of tension. You're not trying to stretch it real hard like electrical tape or nothing like that. Just get a couple turns on there. All this does is fill in the gaps. I'm going to do 3 just in case. Put your finger on there, and then give it a pull. It pops, just like that. See, and now as I turn, it doesn't undo the tape. It keeps it on there. If I were to pull it the other way, it would pry it off, and then put the cap back on. That's just to keep it from unthreading and everything, and it's pretty simple. You just stick it in there, get it lined up right, turn it in. Get me adjustable. There we go. Now remember, this is plastic, so you don't want to be real hard on it. Turn that light back on. There. There we go. So, yep. Firms up. Okay. I'm not cranking on it. Just letting the threads tell me when they're done. You definitely don't want to strip that out. It's going to have some resistance because of that thread tape. There we go. That's good. But now, real simple. Here is the new lower heating element. That's good. The gasket is already on there. Got very important, and this one's a double back. This one's supposed to be good for high, hard water areas. Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. I completely forgot. Very important. Run your finger in there. Make sure there's no scale, no debris, nothing that's going to jam up the threads. Because you don't want this leaking, because once you fill it with water, it's going to be under pressure. Yep, and you're going to get some dirt. That's okay. Scale. Tank gunk. And then, especially this outside edge. This is the sealing surface. The thread just hold it in place. This outside edge is what actually seals it. So you want this to be clean and no like bumps or divots on it, because those will cause it to leak. That feels good. I'm going to slide that in there. And start it by hand. Be very careful. Don't let it drop in there like that. Don't be letting it dangle to hold it up flat. And this is going to be a little tricky because of that, all that weight hanging on it. Bend that wire out of the way a bit. Ooh. Oh, there we go. I caught it. Nope, missed the thread. There we go. All right, caught the thread. Turn in my finger. And then here is the tool. It's just this metal tube with a formed thread on the, or hex on the end. And you stick a screwdriver or whatever else in there, and that's what you use to tighten it. Slides off real easy. It's not fancy, it's not anything, it's just some cheap thing to do it. Oh, my battery, hopefully I got enough battery to finish it. There we go. And same for the top. What's the top one? This is the original, this was the one that wasn't it. This one's copper. You can see it's all nice and coppery now, because I've scrubbed, I let it sit in that vinegar overnight and scrubbed off that scale. Light, turn off. And scrubbed off the scale that had been built up on this with a brass brush. Basically a, toothbrush looking thing. But it was brass bristles. Now you want to be very, very careful working with this because copper is a very soft metal. And putting any kind of pressure on it can damage it, bend it, break it. And you don't want to use a steel wire brush because steel is much harder than it and you can damage it. And you don't want to expose the wire that's wrapped around inside of here. Like here's a little bit of scale, yep. But you do want to clean it off nice and good because copper is an extremely good conductor. It's able to transfer heat very, very well. Let me check. There was a little spot. Yep, right there. Good, that's gone. That was just a little crusty. There we go. Because the copper is an extremely good conductor. It means it transfers heat very, very well. And the more efficient at transferring heat it is, the more of that energy you spend for this electricity or gas heating up the element, the more heat gets into your water, so you spend less energy and less money heating your water. If it has a bunch of scale on it, you just heat up the scale, and you don't actually heat up your water. It's like an insulator. And there we go. Now, there's going to be a bunch of noise, so I'm going to do this on my own. What you want to do, open your hot water valve, and go upstairs, open your hot water faucet. So if your faucets are like dual like this, only open the hot water one. Nothing's going to come out. And that's what you want. If you got like a single lever to open both, open it full hot, nothing else. And nothing should come out. Because what happens, when I open this valve, water is going in the tank and it's filling the tank. But there's nowhere for the air to go. If you open up the cold, you can see how it tees off right there. Up there, and it goes to the rest of the house. But the hot doesn't come off this pipe. The hot only comes out of the water heater. So you got to open your faucets to let the air flow out the pipe. And once you get water coming out your faucets up top, let it run for a couple more minutes. Maybe open up a couple other ones to make sure all the air is out of the system. And then you can connect your wiring and turn on your heaters. Because if you turn on that heater when they're not underwater, you'll burn them up, and then you just got to replace them again. So make sure your water tank is completely full and there's all the air out of your system, especially this top one, before you turn on your water heater. But I'm going to have to babysit it because that valve opens up a lot of water, and once our water pump down here, or well pump, detects that it's low pressure, it just cuts off for safety. That way it doesn't flood the house and run forever. So when it detects low pressure, I got to close that valve, wait for pressure to come up, and open it back up again, and it's going to be tedious. But that simple. It's all buttoned up. See, I just turned on the water, and no water's coming out. Normally I'd do that little spurt with the handle up there, and it'd be filling this. But nope, nice and dry. Well, dry where it's supposed to be. But yeah, I'll bring it back when I connect all those wires and do the final test on it. See you then.